violence. You want to know about your country and your culture and everything. Yeah.
Definitely. And so you spent 6 years in Egypt. So we're going back to Egypt now, which yeah. So what was your experience? What was your experience in Egypt? And tell us more about it. Let's start off with what was some of the most negative things you experienced and witnessed and saw. I know it's kind
A
of
lot of violence.
an gnarly question, but
Yeah, no.
we need to get it. We need to go deep. That's what we're doing.
We need to go deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of violence in Egypt,
Yeah.
at that time because, like I was saying, there was a lot of racism. So
yeah.
what I grew up with is a lot of our people. It's like the black people. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So we knew we weren't respected a lot by them because they didn't like the color of our skin, or because their parents didn't like us migrating to Egypt
Yeah.
to get a better life. And that's because of the racism during that time. And it's not speaking about now or anything,
Yeah.
because it's completely different now. But during that time, it was a lot of violence as well, because you'd walk down the street and you'd get thrown a rock at just because of the color of your skin.
Yeah.
That's how it was. You get called names. You get called monkey, chocolate.
And they'll call it chocolata.
Chocolata. Yeah, exactly.
That's one thing that's so not. That's how traumatic it was, because that's one thing I remember from being in Egypt, like just being called chocolata.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was like 4 years old when 5, 6 when I moved here. So
yeah.
to remember that at that age, it's kind of.
And man, now I'm blessed chocolate,
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
back then, I
Yeah.
love the chocolate.
Yeah, yeah. You can call me a chocolate all you want. I love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
But back then it was such offense. Yeah.
That's so funny. I really think of that.
Like,
That's just, no. I'm glad they called us that. And they didn't, step it up a notch.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Man, that tastes good,
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But yeah, so there was a lot of racism, and I didn't know that was how it was there.
Yeah.
At all. Like,
yeah.
and because I was so young when I became here,
Right.
I just thought that it was so, and I just thought it was amazing because my mom did an amazing job at, making sure that we're safe. So it doesn't click in your head that like,
Yeah.
if she didn't do that, I would have been in massive danger.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
Because it's just understanding that growing up there was so hard itself. For, even parents. Like speaking on my mom, she was working as a cleaner.
Yeah. Same as my mom.
Yeah. So that was the highest form of job that you could get as a
Yeah.
parent there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially as a mother.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for them, and I don't know their experience there because
Yeah.
I haven't asked about that, but I know, like, for a fact, my mum is just so, every time I come back home, I knew something wasn't like right
Yeah.
because of the work that she had to put in and because of the pain that you could see.
Yeah.
And then so just being in Egypt and understanding that,
Yeah.
at a young age as well, like looking at that differently,
You know what's one thing so interesting that you talk about how most of the jobs that was available, the only job that was available was cleaning. I remember mom used to tell me that like sometimes she wouldn't even get paid. Like she would break her back cleaning someone's house, apartment, or whatever it is. And then the housewives were there would either abuse her, call her names, sometime attack her.
or even claim she stole something.
Yeah,
or
claim,
something.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Lie
yeah.
about. And then on top of that, they wouldn't pay her. So majority of the time, she wouldn't even get paid. And then my mom would tell me though, is not getting paid was, like sometimes the best outcome, because sometimes as well, people, are getting killed. Just doing that, because I remember organs were a massive thing there. They were selling organs. I know this is another conversation that sounds completely dark. We've taken a wrong turn, but this is what we're doing. We've gone this far, but how people were like selling organs and stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah.
So apparently, some people that were working as maids or whatever, they would get attacked and then they'll get their organs sold.
Yeah.
So my mom, to know that was happening around that time, her not getting paid, she was like, please, I don't care if I get paid or not, as long as I can make it back to my kids. And that's one thing that she had to deal with when she woke up.
Yeah, because that's Egypt.
Yeah.
A lot of violence, a lot of trauma,
Yeah.
and it's because of, I guess it's because of the poverty as well there, so.
Well, so the Egyptians were living in poverty as well, to the point where
Yeah,
they took anger out on certain people. You reckon that was another
I think it was because of the crime rates are high.
What was the crime rate so high?
I believe because the government didn't have support for them. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean, like, it was a third world country.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, it wasn't developing at the time because of politicians were corruptions. You know,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, we want change, but
Yeah.
nothing was changing,
Yeah.
and it still happens till this day in some certain countries. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, looking at that in Egypt, that's why the crime rate was so high then that they would just do anything, you know.
Yeah.
Even for myself, when I was in Egypt, being young and not knowing what even a crime was normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember like being around, you know, some of my friends. What we used to do is we used to steal car parts
Yeah. Yeah.
and sell them to mechanics
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to make just a $2 or in their money. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
to make that amount of living so you can keep going
Yeah.
on certain daily basis. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that felt like that was poverty. Like
Yeah,
you knew
yeah.
nothing about that as a kid, and you thought that was normal. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, just understanding that from then and seeing like, okay, wow. And then now at this age, I'm looking back at it. I'm like, okay, this is the reason why there was a high crime rate.
Yeah.
There was no government support or anything like that. There was a lot of racism. There was a lot of violence, and that was Egypt, yeah, itself. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Man,
Yeah.
that's man. Honestly, like I knew nothing about Egypt at all. I literally was like, I can't wait to go back to Egypt. And then I started hearing stories about it, and then realizing, oh man, I'm glad I survived Egypt. I don't want to ever go back to Egypt.
yeah.
How's Egypt now? Can we both go back, and would that be fine, or was it?
I haven't been to Egypt.
Yeah.
I'm so traumatized to even go back to
That's
Egypt.
what I'm saying. Like, I'm actually really traumatized from
Yeah.
hearing, you know, my mom's experiences there. I'm traumatized about the way they treated our people.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
just so much hatred. But they, you know, but yeah, that's just how I feel. I feel like I don't want to go back to Egypt.
Neither do I. You know.
Yeah, I remember at one point I actually had a necklace that had like a pharaoh's head.
Right.
Because I was like, you know, I love Egypt. I came from Egypt. You know,
Yeah.
I thought I was half Egyptian at the time. But then, like, to learn more about Egypt and to know how we were treated, I took that I like ripped that necklace off.
Yeah.
After reading Jack Dawes' book specifically, and I just threw that away, and I was just so like upset
Yeah. Yeah.
and hurt from it. So yeah, I don't think I could ever go back to Egypt.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
I don't think I can.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
As-
a lot of trauma there.
Yeah,
That's
as
why.
beautiful as it is, I don't, you know, I can't go back. Like, I don't think I'll ever go see the pyramids again. I don't know if I
Yeah.
even had the chance to see them,
Yeah.
but I don't think I'll go back to Egypt.
It's yeah. I think it's good to go to see what you could have had that you're
Yeah.
luckily enough blessed to have now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you could say, okay, I'm glad I came from how far I've come.
yeah,
You know, because you gotta face your traumas somehow too.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I
sure,
mean.
for
So
sure.
it's good to do that, but it is like for us now. It is good, but I would never consider living there.
Yeah.
Never. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
I could definitely.
I don't know
not
how
do
to
that.
explain it. Yeah. It's such a it was just such a painful place to be.
Yeah,
You know, not
and
for-
I think another reason why I started this project is because I know eventually I'm getting older now. I do want to go back home eventually.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go around Africa, but I need to know a little bit about. I want to know as much as I can about Africa.
Right.
So that's why I'm having conversations with these, you know, like these, and with you, people
Yep.
from all parts.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of understanding. You know, if I didn't read Jack Dawes' book, or I didn't read, you know, if I didn't hear your story about what it was like in Egypt, or, you know, I would have been like, oh, I'm Egyptian, I'm gonna go to Egypt, and then like just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
my mind would be blown there. I'm glad it got blown here to the point where like, okay, now I know, instead of like going and then realizing that, oh, holy shit, like this was a horrible place for our people once upon a time.
A very
You
It
know,
was very dramatic for us. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, traumatic. Sorry.
yeah,
So like, just even seeing that, like, I even saw a friend get stabbed in the head. You know,
back in Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So seeing that at a young age and then that was over.
Did he survive? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he did. He eventually did. But he was scarred. You know, very heavily.
Yeah.
So
And who was it? Just the Egyptians? Was it teenagers?
it was Egyptians
Yeah.
because they wanted his money. You know, and he was young and he didn't want to give it to them. And just being in that, you know, seeing that myself, I was like, wow, like this is the lifestyle we live. I'm so used to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, okay, this is what it is. But knowing why as well,
Yeah.
you know, okay, because of the crime, because of, we don't have money. Nobody has money. So if they do it, it's okay for us to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because we need to survive as well.
Yeah.
It's like survival of the fittest there. That's how it was, you know? So, yeah. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
traumatic place to be.